Yeah, Ben, it may not seem like a big change, but Pfizer just announced that their COVID vaccine is 5% more effective than they originally thought. And the reason that's a big deal is because Pfizer can now say that their vaccine meets the effectiveness and safety standards that were put in place by the FDA in order to get that all-important emergency use authorization, which is the final regulatory step that's needed before doses are sent to the population. Pfizer, who announced last week their COVID vaccine was 90% effective, updated their data showing it's actually 95% effective at preventing infection.
There's a lot of optimism coming from this data.
The change was made because the company got more data from their study of more than 40,000 people. Of those 40,000 people, 170 got COVID. Of those 170, 162 were given the dummy placebo vaccine, while only 8 people got COVID who received the real vaccine.
The infection rate in those who got the vaccine was much lower than the control group that got a placebo.
Pfizer says their vaccine makes people immune 28 days after the first dose and is the same level of effectiveness regardless of age, gender, race, or ethnicity.
There was a very large focus on having a racial and ethnically diverse population, which is really critical. We know that there's been health disparities.
The biggest downside to Pfizer's vaccine is it needs to be kept abnormally cold.
The storage for the Pfizer vaccine is particularly challenging because it's what we call ultra cold storage. That vaccine needs to be stored at minus 80 degrees centigrade or minus 100 degrees Fahrenheit until shortly before it's administered. This creates a lot of logistical challenges, and we started preparing for this several months ago.
These are pictures of the ultra cold storage Hartford Hospital just installed, capable of holding 280,000 doses. Hartford Hospital plans to be the hub for the Pfizer vaccine and distribute it to vaccination clinics. All right, and so you may also be wondering, how will this vaccine be shipped? It's a good question, and the answer to that is it'll be shipped on dry ice. That's going to keep that vaccine cold for up to a period of 10 days while it gets transported wherever it needs to go across the country. Now, the bridge to getting to a vaccine is going to be very important. Vaccines are preventative. Until then, we need something else. A lot of that is tracking and tracing. So coming up on the news at 5, I'll be speaking with the expert here in the state of Connecticut on Connecticut's new COVID infection tracking and tracing app and that notification system that you can get on your phone. The Chief Operating Officer of the state of Connecticut, Josh Jabal, he'll be answering some questions. Is it safe? Is it secure? Is it anonymous? Does it work? All of that coming up in the news at 5. For now, we are live in Hartford. Matt Caron, Fox 61 News.